welcome to another episode. Today's question is, what is life according to you? What is life according to you? So, there are many topics, whatever is coming in life is important. So, we are seeing all the questions which are important. Right questions get right answers. Questions are very important. And this is very much important because this question is the basic. What is life? We are living. That is the basic thing. And we don't know what life is. Most of us. We don't think about it. We take it for granted. So this is an important question in that respect, that what is life? To give a simple answer, life is living. No interpretation, no getting a derivative meaning. It simply is living. Life is living. As simple as that. Because whatever you call a success, achievement, is generated by thought, and in the end it may not mean anything. Even that, as a goal, when it is reached, it may not mean anything. But working for the goal, living through that is important. And living is living wholly, not in fragments, not for a goal, not for an achievement. You can do that, you have to do that, but that is not life. Life is something more as a whole. Every moment, whatever you do, eating, traveling, trying to plan your life, trying to achieve something in your life, everything counts, not in tiny fragments. So it is not a goal at the end, you go through a process, reach a goal, and then you live. No, it is not like that. It is every moment of your life, the journey, something more than a journey, it's living. Journey is a travel to some place. But it is actual living that is important. So first we will see from J.Krishnamurti's talks in Europe in 1968. Because life is a relationship, and without relationship there is no life. You are always related to somebody. Your interactions with somebody. Even the monk in his monastery, which is really a mode of escape, even he is related. Relationship means life, and when there is a conflict in that relationship, whether it be within yourself or with your husband, your wife, your neighbor, or with anybody, then life becomes a battlefield. We have made our life the daily living, which ultimately ends in a war zone like Vietnam for the US people. We are all responsible for this. Nowadays, it is not Vietnam, it was Iraq or Afghanistan or somewhere. You fight the wars. Your life, which was supposed to be peaceful, ends up in a battlefield. It applies to everyone. The Russians, Indians, Italians, Chinese, everybody. Everybody is responsible for that, because our day-to-day life is full of violence. May not be physically violent, but mentally. So to call somebody as violent and dreadful, you are also that, we are also that, and we don't feel that responsibility. Then when one understands what is to live, it is to end sorrow, to end the struggle, not to make a battlefield out of life. Then it will be seen psychologically, inwardly, that to live is to die. Die to everything, every day. Don't accumulate. to all the accumulations that have gathered, die to all the accumulations, so that the mind is fresh, new and innocent each day, and that requires enormous attention. But this cannot be unless there is an ending to sorrow, that is fear, and the ending of the thought. Then the mind is completely quiet, not dull, not stupid, not made insensitive by discipline, and the rest of those tricks that one plays through the study of the yoga and all the rest of the business. Then life is dying, which means there is no death without love. Love is not memory. Life, love and death go together. They are not separate things. And so life consists in living every day in the state of freshness. And to have that clarity, that innocency, there must be depth of what the state of mind which there is always a center, the me. Can a human being establish for himself his relationship with reality? That is when the man has been seeking for thousands of years. The reality which you may call God or give any other name to. Man has everlastingly seeking that. That is one of the essential questions man has to ask himself. Otherwise, life has no meaning whatsoever. To go to office, to go to factory, to see that all mankind has food, clothes and shelter, and then what? Is all life mechanical, a routine? Can we as human beings establish ourselves an actual relationship with reality? Not imaginary, fictitious, mythical, romantic, but actual. A relationship with reality. That is one of the basic questions we must ask. Because as one observes, the world is becoming more and more mechanical. The computer is taking charge of everything. And if we do not find out for ourselves with sanity, with reason, what is our relationship to that immense thing that man has sought, to that immeasurable reality? Obviously, our life is empty. Though you may get plenty of water from the tap, though life can be organized extensively to live comfortably, so that each one of us has food, clothes and shelter, unless one finds that, life becomes utterly meaningless empty. And that one is our basic essential questions. We must ask and find out for ourselves, not depending on anyone. And no priest, no religion, no belief, no leader, no guru, no teacher. Because if we depend on another, we are not free. Dependence breeds fear and authority. So life is broken into fragments. One can observe it on oneself. One hates and loves. One wants to be good. And there is always this resistance against temptation, evil and so on. And one asks oneself whether an action that is never broken up, never fragmented, but always complete, is at all possible? If we may, this morning we are going to find out, not intellectually, not as an idea or as a theory, but actually find out for ourselves in daily life. Whatever we are doing, whether it is possible to act so completely, so wholly, so that there is no fragmentation ever. So this is from J.Krishnamurti. He is talking about living wholly, not in fragmentation, and not with the memories of yesterday, but living today completely. We can make our external lives comfortable, but what is inside us, that is what is more important. So a man has to live with reality. The mind will play all sorts of tricks. With its sorrow, it will create God. It will create all mythical things. But the reality is something different. Your day-to-day living, your relationship with another, that is more important. That's what he says. Next we will see from Falling in Love with Darkness from Osho. A partial life is bondage, a total life is freedom. He's also talking about a wholeness of life, like what J. Krishnamurti told, not in parts. So he says a partial life is bondage, a total life is freedom. Ultimate liberation is not goal. The goal is always life itself. The goal is your day-to-day living, the moment. That is the goal. It is not at the end. Against similar lines as J. Krishnamurti starts. If you make ultimate liberation your goal, there is great danger because you go into different directions. The man who says that ultimate liberation is the goal starts escaping from life. He says, drop life. Our goal is liberation. No, whenever we set a goal, we look at the end. The ultimate goal matters, not your day-to-day striving. That does not matter. So if you make liberation as something different at the end of your life, at the end of your goal, then this moment you are going to waste it. You think it is not life. Life is after liberation, whatever you call liberation. So you don't want to live today. You want to reach the goal and then live. And that is not possible because life is every moment. If you are not living completely today, you cannot live tomorrow or the day after. So today is important. This moment is important. That is what he is trying to say. So people will say, the guys who seek liberation will say, drop life, our goal is liberation. He will withdraw from life, will run away from it, escape because he does not accept life. He will torture and destroy himself. We believe in dying. The man who believes in ultimate liberation becomes suicidal. He says that he will commit suicide. There are few courageous people who commit suicide at once, and there are weak who do it slowly and slowly. It is not encourage suicide, but what he is telling, it is like suicide. If you don't live today and you say, I'll attain liberation, which is a goal, and then live, then it is a suicide, killing of your life today. So what he says is live today. That's what he is trying to say. So there are people who die dropping things one by one. Then they will live as dead man lives. They are called renunciates. So again, what he is trying to say, what renunciates do, they drop things one by one. It's like a slow death. The people who drop everything, it is like a suicide. The people who drop things one by one, it is like slowly crawling towards your death. Ultimately, you have nothing in you. You are empty. These holy people have caused great harm. They have poisoned all the roots of life. Their condemnation of life has taken away the joy of living. So there is a saying, you have neither this life or next life. These people waste away this life. They take out all the joy of this living. And they oppose their life in exchange for a goal of liberation, which they have imagined, they have declared. If you can't see liberation at this moment, you will never see it. So their opposition of life has declared and condemned all those who are living as sinners. So that these people, these renunciates, they call others as sinners. They think you have to live in pain. That is not required. Even they are facing life as if they are criminals. To live life has become a crime. To laugh has become a crime. To be joyful has become a crime. To dance has become a crime. Everything has become a crime. Depressed, long faces have become only kinds of virtue. Escape, drop life. And the more a man escapes from life, the more he shrinks into a corner, into a cave. the greatest saint he becomes, because man is going toward ultimate liberation. He is not moving towards liberation, he is just moving towards death. So this is what Osho says. You understand that. If you shrink away from life, live in a cave, it is nothing but death. You are killing life. You think that is liberation. No, it is not liberation. He is suicidal. He is just searching for his grave. Only someone who moves towards more life is actually moving toward freedom. He embraces the whole life. He drinks life from the rays of the moon and the stars, dances with the aliveness. He drinks the juice of life force from other people's eyes. He celebrates his life that is present all around in every flower and leaf. So it is not that to enjoy life means to live on the petty pleasures of life, but to be whole, to see the nature, to see our relationships, to see beauty in other human beings. That is what is important. That is life. Life is throbbing around you, the insects, the birds, the animals, other human beings, nature, the sun's rays, the moon's light. Everything is throbbing with life. So what he says is, don't shrink away from much into a cave, but to live, imbibe the beauty of life, live wholly. He sees each and every cell throbs with life, and he unites with the whole life. He stands up, sits, wakes up, dances and sings with life. He becomes life itself. The kind of man attains liberation, because who will put him in bondage then? There is no bondage. This person is one with life, spread everywhere, one with the universe, one with the consciousness. He has merged with the whole of life. So who will create a bondage for him? He is not binded to anything, binded to one relationship, binded to a pleasure, an attachment. No. He is enlightened. This kind of man is called enlightened one. The kind of man creates a liberation while being alive. The liberation of an escapist always happens after death. An escapist who is shutting himself from life attains liberation when he dies. A living man, because he is contained by his own thoughts, his own ideas, his own goals. But a living man can never become liberated according to them, because for their liberation, total death is essential. A living man is going to be alive no matter how much he pretends to be dead. At least he is going to breathe or open his eyes. Even that much life remaining is a hindrance. He can attain liberation only after death. And liberation that happens after death has no value. Only the liberation that takes place in the total bliss of living, while being totally alive, is eternal, and only that is significant. When you are alive and totally living, and if you understand the wholeness, then that is liberation while you are living. If you attain liberation at your death, then what is the use? It is of no use. So this is the answer to the question, what life is. Life is to live wholly, not in fragments, not in parts. And it is to live completely, not shutting yourself away from the life. To live this moment, to live in this day. It is not at an end. It is not a goal to be reached. It is living day to day, moment to moment. So with this, we will end this episode. Stay with me for another episode. Subscribe to my channel. Share my video. Thank you.